period. So I want to just explain a little bit about what we've done here. This top section is what we would call a title. This middle section is the body. And this final line is what we would typically call in a document the signature line. So I'm going to use those terms. We've got the body, the signature line, and the title up here. Okay, so when I say those things, you'll know what I'm referring to now, hopefully, because I've defined them. And I like to talk about navigation right about now. How do we get around in a Word document? How do you move around? You can use the mouse or by the arrows. Now, if you're a total nerd geek like myself, I wear it proudly. I love the arrow keys. I do. I think it's very precise. It's a lot easier to do. How about if I'm at the beginning of this tan color with patches sentence and I want to go to the last part of that? How do I get there? Does anybody know with one key? What was it? Page down? No, I want to get to the right side. End. So end will take me automatically to the end of a sentence, or the line I'm on. If I wanted to go all the way back, I wanted to get to the beginning of that line.
Arrow all the way back.
No. We could arrow all the way back. Home. Home will take us back. Look at that. Ta-da! Brought us all the way back. Now check this out. If I use my right arrow, notice I'm going by one at a time. I'm going across. But if I hold the control key down, so I hold control and I hit the arrow, notice it jumps every word. So that's cool, isn't it? Ah, look at that. So control will jump every word instead of just by one at a time letters. That's good.
Or you can just hold it down and just let it.
You could, or you could just hit home and go back to the beginning. I'm just giving you different features so you can see what's going on here. Now, if I hit up, notice it takes me to the next line. But if I'm up here on this line and I hit control down, it took me to the next paragraph. See, control up takes you to the top of the next paragraph. Control down takes me to the next paragraph. It's skipped in between. Notice I'm going back and forth here with my control key. That's kind of fun. If I want to be at the, let's say I had a 50-page document. I'm all the way at the bottom. I'm at the very end, and I just written 50 pages, and I don't want to take my hands off the keyboard. I'm a big believer in knowing keyboard shortcuts because it makes you much faster when you work. You don't have to go back and forth. And did you guys know on your laptops, the newer ones, if you're messing around, have you guys figured out how to lock your trackpad?
Yeah.
You just double tap the circle and it locks it so your wrist doesn't mess with it. Okay, I just want to make sure you guys knew that. So if you're, and let's just say you've got your trackpad locked and you don't want to keep going back and forth, it's really useful. Plus it helps with carpal tunnel because you're not going to be like doing these weird things with your wrists and all this stuff. So if you want to go all the way to the beginning of a document, from the very end, you're at page 50 and you want to get all the way back in a keystroke. Anybody got a guess?
Control T?
Control what?
T?
No.
Okay. Control home.
Control home. There you go. Booyah. So control home will take you all the way back to the beginning. Control end will take us where?
To the end.
To the end, exactly. See, you guys are already starting to get this.
Yes. No, I think I really just deleted everything.
Time out. Wait.
Undo,
Hold.
stop.
Yeah, we're going to get to undo in 1 second here, but yeah, go ahead. Control Z.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so I just wanted to point those few things out there. So there's a lot of different ways. We can also use page up and page down. They jump a page at a time. Those are a few little things. Now we're going to save. Okay, before you click anything, when was the last time anybody in here used a floppy disk?
Oh.
Last year? All right, I was going to say I haven't used one in a long time. I'm a computer nerd, but that's pretty good. So floppy disks are still the symbol, though, for saving in the world of computers. So up at the top left here, we have this little floppy disk. Before you click on it, notice that as we hover over it, what comes up? It gives us the keyboard shortcut automatically. So we can either click that or just hit Control S. The first time we save a document in Word, it will give us a dialog box and says, what do you want to save this as? It pops up and says, what do you want to call this? I'm going to go ahead and call this one Found Dog Flyer. And click Save. Now Word has a feature in it, as soon as you do this, that it auto-saves for you. It actually auto-saves anytime, but as soon as you name it, it's saving automatically every 10 minutes. Which means, if you're working on a project and you've saved it, and the power goes out, you're never more than 10 minutes away from where you were. It's pretty cool, right? Now, I do a lot in 10 minutes because I can type 105 words a minute when I'm doing stuff fast. I had the power go out one time, and I lost 10 minutes work, and I was like, what? That was like 2.5 pages. So I actually set mine to 4 minutes, and I can show you how to do that. But for most people, 10 minutes is pretty decent, because I just want you to realize that if something ever happens, if your whole computer just craps out in the middle of something, and you're in the middle of a Word document, it is saving your file to keep it protected at all times. Okay? So don't freak out and say, I lost everything. You didn't lose everything. You lost maybe 10 minutes, and that's at the max. Okay? So as long as you're in Microsoft Office, it's going to be keeping track of this for us. Now we're going to learn how to format paragraphs here. So as I've asked, let me see. Who could I ask? Sam? What's a paragraph in Word? What does Word think a paragraph is? What does Word, the program, think a paragraph is? Anybody else? Gabby? Oh, Nora. Whenever we've hit enter, that's a new paragraph. So anywhere we see this little paragraph symbol, whatever precedes it, Word considers a paragraph. And that's important because when we look at this little bar up here, this is called the ribbon. And what's wonderful about an Office suite is that if we learn the ribbon in one, it goes to the next program and goes to the next program. And things will change because Microsoft Excel has different features than Microsoft Word. And PowerPoint has different features than both of them. But there's little things that stay the same, and it makes it very familiar. So we can always refer back to, for instance, all three of those programs have the exact same font box here. There's a little variation. I think PowerPoint has shadow and stuff like that in it. But it looks really, almost identical. So if we can get familiar with how to use the font box in Word, we've already learned a little bit about Excel. We've already learned a little bit about PowerPoint because we know how to use that here. So this font box is here, but this paragraph box applies to each paragraph. Okay? So this is going to be pretty specific to here in Word. This is one of the ones that are here. And also styles is another one that's here, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here. So let's go ahead and select a line. I love this. There's a few different ways to select a line. Anybody got an idea how to select a line? We wanted to pick a line to do some stuff to it. You can point to it and click on it. So if we want to found dog, we could do that.
I was going to say to select the whole line, you click on it 3 times.
Okay, there you go. So if you click once, we put our insertion point down. If we click twice, it selects a word. If we click 3 times, it selects the paragraph. And if we click 4 times, what does it do? Anybody? Doesn't do anything. I always tell everybody that because they always guess it does something, but it doesn't. So 1 is just insertion point, 2 is the word, 3 is the entire paragraph. So down here where we have a longer paragraph, 1 clicks in, 2 clicks the word, 3 clicks the entire paragraph gets highlighted. Okay? Just like that. So if I wanted to select an entire line for our title, I can come up here, and this is where knowing what a paragraph becomes important. We don't have to select everything in a paragraph to do paragraph formatting. If we're going to change something in a paragraph, wherever our cursor is, it applies to the entire paragraph. So anything that we do in this box will affect everything in the paragraph that we're in. Jen, does that make sense? Like normally if we want to change a font, we'd have to highlight everything to change it because the font isn't in the paragraph, right? But if I want to come in here and I want to center, does anybody know what justification is on a document?
Justification is where it's the same on the right and the left side. The words spread all the way up.
Well, we call that justified, but justification is where is it anchored? The left, the right, the center, or full justification is what we call that. Justified is full justification. So, for instance, right now, what are we justified? Left justified. If we wanted to be right justified, we can either come up here in the paragraph and click it, right justified, center justified, left justified, full justified. It just means that we're going to have the same line all the way down here and the same line down here. But I want to make this one centered. And the way we can do that with a keyboard shortcut is Control what?
C.
No. This is a trick question. How did you figure that out, Tanya? She hovered over it, right? And she saw it. It was Control E. That might be on the test, by the way. So we can center with Control E, and that will get us a center.